Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Morning. On behalf
Good
of the
morning, ma'am.
department, I welcome my colleagues and friends from the Commerce Department, Dr. Priyanka, Dr. Paramjeet, and Shweta ma'am, who will be there with us throughout this workshop, and they will be taking different sessions also. Paramjeet ma'am has joined, so I think Mehak, you can continue with the things. Before
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
I have an important announcement for the students. As you know, the university calendar has come and your admission process will start from 27th of July. Your final year admission will be done on 27th and 28th. I will confirm from the college if the online mode is open, you will do it on the online mode. Otherwise, a time schedule will be circulated and you will have to come within that time schedule only. So please get set to join your classes. Mehak, you can continue.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Hoping everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in. My name is Mahak Sharma, and I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Department of Business Management of Khalsa College for Women to the second day of 1-week workshop on project report writing. Hope you are all healthy, well, and safe. Now, it's truly a matter of blessing that we are able to learn even during this unprecedented disruption. We all should be thankful to the Almighty.
Power
God.
on. Bluetooth mode.
So our today's topic is choosing a research topic and the objectives for the same, which is the most challenging part of any research because it is the plinth, or we can say the base of any research. This is going to be a very helpful and full of insight session for everyone. And here we have with us our distinguished speaker, Dr. Paramjeet Kaur ma'am, who will help you all to take a deep dive into today's topic. She has been very gracious to agree and be a part of today's webinar. Dr. Paramjeet Kaur is Assistant Professor in Department of Commerce and NCC in charge in KCW itself. Welcome, ma'am, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mehak, for such a nice introduction. And you rightly said that it is a very challenging task. Mehak, I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Thank you so much. Very rightly, Mehak said that selecting your topic is the most challenging task, because once you have selected a right topic, half of the task is done. Your journey will be very easy. But if you have selected a wrong topic, or maybe that is not of your interest, you will be entangling here, there, and you will not be satisfied with whatever you are doing. You know, research is like an ocean, and you have to dive into it. When really you are conducting a research, day and night, only research comes to your mind. So it becomes your first love. If you really love the work, if you really love researching, and you are really into that educational mode. But if the purpose for which you are doing the research, you are not clear with that, I think that will be the worst thing about research. If you are not clear with what you are going to do, what is your topic, what are your objectives. So today we will be discussing in depth how to select a topic, what are the right topics, and sometimes we do so many mistakes, what type of mistakes students generally do, and how to set your objectives. Let's discuss all these things. I'll be sharing my screen. Is my screen visible, Mehak?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
So let's start with today's topic. That is choosing the research topic and deciding upon the objectives. So first of all, we will discuss how to choose a research topic. Research topic basically means what is the topic for you which you are going to research. Research may be for a day, for a week, or for your case, it may be for a semester. And in case of MPhil, it can be for some years. In case of PhD, it can be for many years. So you have to select your topic very wisely, keeping into mind your areas of interest and keeping into mind what you actually want to do. Because when you are into the research, you actually have to dive into the research. So let's start with the thought of Albert Einstein, because for me, he is the best researcher till date. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? If you really know what you are doing, it will not be a research. When you already know what the results of my research will be, I think it is not a research. Research will be when you don't know what the outcomes will be. So that's why Albert Einstein said, if we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research. So a question arises, what research is? Research is actually an organized investigation of the problem. You have to recognize that there is a research, and it will be in a very organized manner. It will be an organized investigation you are going to do. Why it is called organized investigation? Because you will have to go through a research process. It will not be just one task that you have just copied, pasted from the internet and research is done. Research is basically systematically investigating a problem, and that systematic investigation means it's a process. In this process, the first step is problem identification that we are going to discuss today. Because whenever you are researching, you have to identify your problem area. Your research question is very important. So after you identify the research problem, then you go into the literature review. Literature review will be discussed with you all tomorrow, how we do the literature review. Then we have to formulate the hypothesis, assumptions regarding our research. Then we go for research design. Then we collect the data and process it. And then we analyze the data and test our hypothesis. And finally, we come up with our interpretations, conclusions. So finally, we are going through a systematic process. It is not that we can jump from the first step to the last step. We have to go through this step by step through this process. Next comes in the research, what else we can include? It is to find out the solution of a problem. As I told you, you have to identify a problem, and our task will be to find out the solution of that problem. And research is about drawing generalization about the population. You have to take a population. Out of that, you will be selecting a sample. Then on the basis of the data collected, on the basis of the data analysis you have done on the sample, you have to draw generalization about the population. Sometimes the students ask me a question that why we are not conducting the research on population itself. It will not be possible. For example, you want to see in India how many corona patients are there. You have to go to each and every state individually. You have to calculate how many patients are coming daily. That will be called a census research, a population research. If I want to find out a particular medicine, is it effective for the corona patients? I cannot test that medicine on each and every patient because that can be very risky also. So for that purpose, I will have to take a sample out of the population. On that sample, I will be conducting my research. Then only I will be, whatever findings I am finding from that sample, I will just assume on the basis of my alpha, I will assume that same will be applicable to my population as well. I'll give you another example. If you have to just test whether a person is having corona or not, and if you want to see this through a blood test, for example, can we take the entire blood from a person's body? We cannot take. It means we will have to take a sample from the body of that person. On the basis of that sample, we will be conducting our analysis on that blood sample. And finally, we will be coming out with the conclusion that this person is having corona or not. Now we have to apply our tests, our medicines on that person. On the basis of that sample, we will be drawing generalizations. Now I would like to discuss with you all one very important definition of research. Research is an activity that involves finding out in a more or less systematic way things you do not know. The things you already know, regarding that you cannot conduct a research. So it is an activity where will you find out in a systematic, more or less systematic way, things you don't know, and methodology is the philosophical framework within which the research will be conducted. You will be setting a methodology. Yes, I have to do research in this way. So research methodology is basically means you have to set a framework and then you have to find out the generalizations. This was about research, what research is. Very briefly, I would like to discuss with you various types of research. Different books have given different explanations regarding it, that there are n number of types of research. But whatever I have learned till date, according to me, research can be divided in 4 parts. Exploratory research. This research deals with invention. When you are exploring something new that has never been discovered, that will be called exploratory research. Descriptive research will be the phenomena that already exist. You are just describing that phenomena. You are not trying to explore something new. You are just describing the phenomena. So generally in case of social sciences, we go for descriptive research. Experimental research means when we are conducting the experiments in a very systematic way, in a well-defined environment. For example, I'll take you people and I will take that how much knowledge you have about research today. And after 1 week of this course, again, I will conduct a research on you, how much knowledge you have. So before and after effect, I am taking in a very controlled environment. So there will be controlled factors will be there that will be controlling your behavior. So here experiments are done in an environment. And finally, historical research. In historical research, we try to find out the historical facts. And sometimes we try to find out whether history, whatever was done in the historical past, whether it was okay or not. We try to critically analyze the things. So these are the 4 main types of research. Now, why we need a good research topic? We are talking about today about the topic because you people are going to choose a research topic for yourself and then you will be conducting a research on that. The question arises why we are so much talking about a good research project. There are various reasons behind that, why we talk so much about a good research project. First, an influential research starts with a good topic. Whatever human being does, it is always to have an influence on other persons. We want our research to be very different from others. So if you want to have an influential research, today you are in your bachelor's, tomorrow you will be in your master's, step by step you will be moving towards your doctorate or MPhils, then there a good topic is really important task. Because if you want to influence others, that yes, you have done something. Sometimes what happens, we go to library and we search for thesis. The moment we see the heading of the thesis, whether influencing or not, that's important. So if you want to conduct influential research, you need a good topic for researching. Now, research is not one-day activity that we will be doing it in a single day and the task will be done. You are going to invest so much time into it. In case of doctorate degrees, people spend 5 years, 7 years, 8 years into that. So it is not just one day task that you have just selected the topic, any topic you take and the task is done. It is not like that. So when you are investing so much time into it, you are investing your labor into it, you are investing your hard work, money, other resources into it, then why not a good topic? So you should select a good topic for research. Now your research should offer practical solutions to the society. So it is very important to select a topic that is relevant. If today you conduct a research relating to corona, what is the effect of corona on different age groups, for example, students or youngsters, or you can say middle-aged persons, that will be very practical and people, it will be very eye-catching also for others to see. So you should select a topic because you want to offer good solutions to the society. Now, if you want to have very strong foot in the research world, because research world is very wide, very competitive. It is not that we are doing any research and we will be the topmost in that world. So you have, if you want to be strong footed in the research world, you have to come up with a good research topic. Now, next comes some mistakes we generally do. When you are selecting your topic, students, I have seen some mistakes, and this is, I have not taken these slides from internet or somewhere. These are the actual mistakes that I have seen that generally students do while selecting the common mistakes. And I hope you all will not be doing these mistakes. First is choosing the topic too broadly. Sometimes we choose a topic very broadly. That, for example, one of my students, I told my students to select the topic. One of my students told me, ma'am, my topic is recruitment and selection. Do you think it is a right topic? The topic is very broad. What you want to do in recruitment and selection? Recruitment and selection is such a wide topic. What you can do, you can conduct recruitment and selection in a specific industry, or you can compare two companies who are doing recruitment and selections and various challenges they are facing. So you can compare those. But selecting a topic so widely, you will never be able to reach anywhere, because what you will write and what you will not write. So my point is, you have to be very specific while choosing a research topic. Sometimes the topics are too obvious that can be very easily Googled. Very easily you can find those topics on Google and you just try to take those topics. The things which have already been researched that are put on Google. And a research basically means searching for something new or giving a new shape to the existing phenomena. So when the topics that are very obvious, you take those topics, you cannot make influential research. The things which are already available on Yahoo, on Google, on YouTube, you should not take. You should always go for a novel thing, original thing. You can take some idea from the existing thesis and then you can carry on the research, but never go for the topics that have already been done. Third is copying from your friends or from internet. This is the easiest way we select the topics. We just go through the internet, ask our friends, and then we finalize the topic. Do not do like that. There has to be some inner calling regarding your topic. When you move around in the market, when you're talking to your family, maybe some topic will be coming to your mind. So go ahead with your topic. Sometimes we take unrealistic topics, the topics that are not actually realistic, that is not possible, or sometimes due to time factor, you people have a very limited time to conduct a research. And if you take the topic, you will be taking the data from entire India. So that will be very difficult. So be specific and do not take unrealistic topics. Another mistake we do, we generally told our teacher to allot a topic. That is, I think, the worst thing that ever can happen in research. Research is something, I told you that day and night, that topic should move in your mind. That should come from inside from your mind. You are going ahead daily here, there in the market, in the home. You might be seeing so many problems are there in the world. You can take any problem. You can take any topic regarding that. But your research guide can suggest, if you are telling the base, he or she can suggest to you, we can add to it, we can deduct it something, but never told your guide to allot you a topic. Just take the topic of your own choice. And another thing we Indians generally do, we keep on hiding from others. We do not share with others. Once I have selected a topic, I will just see that my friend should not copy it. Anybody else should not see to it. I have to hide it from others. And in that, we are unable to conduct interdisciplinary research. Today, we are surviving in the competitive world, very challenging world where you have to collaborate. Collaboration is very important. So do not hide from anyone your topic. Nobody can take your ideas, your intelligence, the thinking that is going on in your mind. Nobody can copy it. Maybe they can copy your main heading, but what you are going to do inside that topic, nobody can copy it. So do not hide from anybody. Just discuss with people your idea. Maybe sometimes you come across good people. Those people can add knowledge to your ideas. They can give you something. And in that case, if you do not tell them your ideas, then you will not be able to attain the knowledge that they may give you. Let's move on next. Now, steps in choosing the research topic. There are no big process for choosing a research topic. I'm going to discuss with you only 2 steps that you have to do for conducting your research. Now, how you will be able to select a good topic? Select a very broad topic of your interest, first of all. If today you see that Corona is so much in, you think I have to conduct a research in the field of Corona. That is a broad topic. So first of all, select a broad topic. You have in your mind that you want to conduct a research on female because conditions of female is not that good in India. So that is a very broad topic. So first of all, select a broad topic of your interest. Then narrow it down to a specific research topic after discussions and reading. Now, I told you, you want to conduct a research on female, for example. That is a very broad topic. Now, you will narrow down it after reading from the journals, from the books, going to the libraries, and after discussing with your research guide or with your teacher or with your friends, with your family, you can narrow it down. If you are conducting a research on female, it's a broad topic. Now, if you want to conduct a research on the education of women with special reference to Punjab and Haryana, that will be just narrow it down your research to a specific topic. This will be going with the previous slide only, how you select a good topic. In the previous slide, we discussed about two aspects, taking a broad topic and narrowing it down. Now you have to answer certain questions. Who, what, where, when, and why. These will be helping you in choosing a good research topic. Which group have an interest in your topic? When you will be choosing a topic, which group will be basically interested in your topic? Be it students, you want to conduct a research on students, on government, on youngsters, on middle-aged people, on women. So which is the main group that will be having interest in your topic? Those are the people you will be focusing on. So your research topic may be related to a company. So you will have to focus on that specific company only. Second comes what? What are the crucial issues involved? If I will be selecting a specific topic, what are the crucial factors involved? Because factors is a very important idea in case of your research. If I am taking about the women, condition of women, what are the factors behind that? Maybe in India it is like that, or in India also there are some particular regions, they are having this problem. Why? What are the factors behind that? Because it is not one day story. There will be n number of reasons behind that. You have to identify those crucial factors. Then where is the relevance of your topic? You are conducting a research. I told you, you have to find out certain solutions to the society. You have to give certain outcomes, some results to the society. So where is the relevance of the topic? Maybe your topic is relevant for the entire world. If today you find out a corona vaccine, that will be very much relevant for the entire world. And sometimes the topic is specific for India, and sometimes the topic may be relevant for a specific state also. Now, when the problem that you are going to discuss or the phenomena that you are going to research, the topic that you are going to choose, when did that situation started? Was it a regular feature, or will the study be useful for only today, or it will be relevant forever? So you have to find out the answers of these questions. Sometimes the topics are relevant for the current scenario. They may not be relevant for tomorrow. That is not an issue. You can go ahead with such problems. But sometimes the situation is a regular feature. If we are talking about female condition, that is a regular feature. So you can take a topic, a problem that is regularly faced by the people, or you can take a topic that has specifically come up at a specific time. Now, why? Why you want to write about the topic? I told you it is not somebody will be telling you the topic, you take this topic. No, that is not a right criteria. This is why you want to write that topic. Something would have attracted you towards that topic. Maybe you have seen something, you have gone through something, that is why you are taking that topic. So these are the 5 questions that you will have to clarify because finalizing a topic. Take a broad topic, then make it specific. Then you have to see who, what, where, when, and why my topic is important. Now, next question comes for students, from where to find an accurate topic, where the topic exists. At your level, I'll tell you some basis from where you can find out an accurate topic. First is go to the libraries. That is the best thing. If you can go to a university library, you can find out certain journals. Even in your college also, so many journals are there, magazines are there, course materials are there. From that also, you can select a topic. Second comes news sources. Nowadays, you see so many news are coming. On the basis of that also, you can select an accurate topic, because you can identify what type of problems are there in our society. According to that, you can conduct a research, or you can see a company is especially booming up. You can conduct a research on that. Next source will be internet. That is the best thing for you people. At the click of the mouse, you can Google, you can go to various available sources on the internet. Shodh Ganga is there, from you can see n number of theses are available there. From there, you can also take an idea what an accurate topic can be. Then you can converse with your family, your friends. I told you, do not hide your ideas, discuss with the people. Maybe somebody can take your idea, but in-depth study only you can do, because it is going inside your mind. And finally, we can discuss with our teacher. He or she can help you. He or she can suggest to you many sources where you can go ahead with finalizing the topic. Now, whenever you choose a research topic, there are certain prerequisites. So you have to keep these prerequisites in mind while selecting a research topic. First is original. This we have discussed. Do not copy your anybody else's ideas, or do not just take the ideas which are available that have already been Googled. Go ahead with the ideas which are original, and original ideas, I'm sure, will be coming from your mind only. It will not come from somebody else's mind. So go ahead with the original idea that research has not been done. Second prerequisite is be specific. Do not take broad ideas. I want to conduct a research on corona. It is not a topic. It is a chapter in the book. If somebody is saying, I want to do recruitment and selection, it seems like a chapter. You have to be specific. You have to cut it down step by step. Only then you will be able to reach towards a good research topic. Then is self-explanatory. When somebody reads to your thesis or your project file, and he or she reads about your topic, it should be self-explanatory. Somebody should not come to you and ask, what does this mean? What does this topic mean? So try to use simple words, and your topic should be complete in itself. It should not be halfway. Like you have written something, it seems it is incomplete. It should be self-explanatory, and it should be complete in itself. Next is complete and answerable. Your research will be answerable for something. If you are conducting a research at a higher level, you will be answerable. You have to give answer to the people that yes, for this purpose, I have conducted my research. It will be possible only if you are very clear with your ideas, what you are going to do. If you have copy pasted the thing, I'm sure you won't be able to answer to the people why you have conducted the research. Then is practical. Go ahead with the practical ideas. Do not just have stories in your mind that you cannot jot down on paper and pen. Go ahead with a topic which is very practical, which is actually helpful, and it should not be something only theoretical. No doubt we go ahead with the qualitative research also, but in qualitative research as well, there are n number of tools and techniques that we apply. And finally, your research should be able to give something back to the society. It should have a meaning for the people, those who are reading your thesis. If somebody has come up to read your thesis, he or she should have something to take away. I feel if you all will be taking these points into consideration, you will be able to select a really good research topic. Now I'll give you certain examples, what type of topics you all can choose. And I'm not saying you have to take these topics, but with this you will be having an idea what type of topics you can choose for your research. First, I will tell you, first topic can be service quality management. It is a very broad area. If you tell me this is my research topic, I'll tell you, this seems like a chapter in the book. What is service quality management? You would have read these chapters. Sometimes it is a separate subject also, service quality management. But we can make it very specific and we can convert it into a research topic, a study of service quality management in selected Indian companies, or it can be a specific company in India that you can choose and you conduct a service quality management. Another feature can be in service quality management. If you will go through the literature, there are various dimensions. There are 6 dimensions you will see it is available, how service quality is created. Because of tangibility, reliability, assurance, there are 6 variables are there. You can work on any one variable or you can work on 2 variables. So you can write down with special reference to these variables, with special reference to these dimensions. Another idea can be, if you want to work on the topic COVID-19 and Indian youth, again, it is a very broad topic. No doubt COVID is a very acceptable, you can say acceptable research these days, but you have to specify what type of research you want to do. We can convert it into a research topic, a study on impact of COVID-19 on the perception of youngsters. You can see how the perception of youngsters has changed. Earlier, they were least bothered about the relations they were having with the family members. But nowadays, after spending time with the family during the lockdown period, the youngsters have realized that the family values are very important. So there is a drastic change between the perception of youngsters. So you can conduct a study related to that. If I talk about another topic, for example, working capital management, this topic is being done since ages. So this is also a very broad topic, but if I convert the topic into a very specific kind of a thing, it will be a study on working capital management in selected companies which are listed at Bombay Stock Exchange. Or you can take a study of working capital management in selected Indian companies. Now see, once you select your topic, the other things will be going in line. According to the topic, you will be selecting your objectives, you will be selecting your hypothesis, your results will be based upon your topic only. So now what we have done, from the broad topics, we have discussed about the specific topics, what we can choose. I think, Mehak ma'am, I'll just take the feedback. Is everything going fine?
Yeah, ma'am. Everything is perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, ma'am.
So till now we have discussed about what type of topics can be there in your research. You can choose the topic of your interest, but just try to be very specific with your topics. Now the second aspect that is related to your topic will be your research objectives. Keep this thing in mind, whatever topic you have chosen, objectives will be following the topic. Still, your topic will be somewhat broad. The objectives will be very specific. For example, in the previous slide, I have shown you, in this slide, I have shown you, I think somebody's mic is on.
अब फुटस्टेप वाला दे रहा है। उस दिन भाभी के साथ गई थी मैं लेने, 600 रुपए थी एक चप्पल। मैं छवि।
Mehak ma'am, can you please check somebody's mic is on?
Your ma'am has.
Yes, ma'am.
Please try to understand. Ma'am is.
मैंने जाना कैंप तो चप्पल ले लेंगे
वही।
Shubhangi, please mute your mic.
ना अपनी आप गाड़ी में बैठ जाना ना। और मौसम अच्छा है आज।
सिंपल सी हो, फुल फल
मैं आपको शीशे में से दिखाती रहूंगी।
फुल ना लगे।
Please ma'am, you can call her.
I think this is just a time exercise.
Yes, ma'am. Please, I'm sorry.
बहुत ही लोग अमरनाथ यात्रा से गए हुए हैं। लोग अमरनाथ यात्रा से गए हैं। ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਮੌਸਮ ਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ?
नहीं जाना
करते हैं। देखिए कोरोना फैला है।
Chalo, let's move on. what I was discussing, that whatever objectives you have to choose, that should be in line with the topic you have chosen. The topic is still somewhat wider. For example, if I talk about my second topic, impact of COVID on the perception of youngsters, my objectives will be telling what does youngsters means. Youngster means which age group, and what type of impact I am going to study. I want to study the impact on their values, on their way of thinking, on their spiritual values. So I have to be very, very specific when I am writing down my objectives. And youngsters from where I'll be taking. It will be from Punjab only, or it will be from the entire India, from 28 states, or it will be from the entire world. So in my objectives, I will have to specify each and everything. If I talk about my first topic, where we have done that a study on service quality management in selected Indian companies, which companies I'm going to take? Whether I will take the companies that are having a turnover of more than 100 crores, or at least 400 employees are there, or 500 employees are there. So what type of companies I'll be taking? That will be very clearly discussed in my objectives. It means the topic and the objectives have to move in synchronization. Sometimes what we see, topic is something else, objectives are entirely different. It cannot happen like that. You are going to achieve your main objective. Your main objective will be your topic. And on the basis of that topic, you will be creating your other objectives as well. Now let's discuss what are the research objectives. Now research objectives, if we talk about its definition, we generally have an objective in life. It is a very concrete statement which describes what the researcher or research wants to attain. What you want to achieve through the research, that will be an objective. For example, you want to work in a multinational company. That is your objective. How you will be achieving it? With step-by-step objectives. You might have set objectives for every year. If you will be achieving those objectives every year, finally you will be reaching at your main objective. That is your topic. So objective is a statement basically. Whenever we write the objectives, it is in the form of a statement. What type of statement? This statement will be describing what the research wants to attain. Why you are conducting the research, that will be your objective. So from this definition, we can make out what objective is. It is a very clear, concise and declarative statement. You are going to declare something. Yes, I'll be doing this in the next coming 6 months, or I'll be doing this task, this objective in next coming 3 years. You have to be very clear, very concise, and it will be clear, concise and declarative statement. What type of statement it will be? It will be discussing what you are trying to achieve by your study, why you are conducting the study, that your objectives will be specifying. The objectives will be summarizing your future accomplishments or results, because when you will be conducting the research, that will be based upon the objectives. Whatever analysis you will do, whatever you will do in your research, that will be based upon your objectives. It means your objectives will specify, will summarize what your future results will be, what your future accomplishments will be. These objectives will provide you direction. They will tell you how to move, where to move, because once you have selected your objective, entirely full time you will be working on those objectives. So that will be providing you a direction. And finally, it will be telling you how to obtain the answer of research questions and how you will be testing your hypothesis, which tools you will be applying. So all these things will be based upon your objectives. So this was the definition of the objective. Now, whenever you are setting the objectives for your study, keep these points in mind. Before deciding about any research objective, always go for studying whatever has happened related to it in the research world and try to find out the gaps. Today, if you want to conduct a research on corona, if you will search on the internet, you will find n number of studies have already been done. Maybe the idea is there in your mind, already somebody has done that. Already the articles has been published in various journals related to it. The psychological impact on people, it has already been done. Sociological impacts on the society, it has already been done. So before deciding about any research objective, you have to read about all the developments in that area, and you must find out the gap. Gap means the thing that has not been already done. That is the gap. That has already been not researched. You have to address that specific objective only. So the literature review that we are going to discuss tomorrow, it will direct you towards the suitable objectives. Literature review is what? You are going to study the literature that has already been done. From that, you will get an idea what type of objectives I should set for my study. And very important, very interesting point is there. Generally, whenever you write any thesis, you write down the need for the study. Need for study means why you are conducting that study. Ultimately, that is your objectives only. Because there is a gap, the study has not been conducted. That is the need why my study has been done. So need of the study is basically will be shaping your objectives. So you have to keep these points in mind. Go for the original objectives. The things that have already been done, just ignore them, just go through them and build up your study based upon the previous studies and identify the need for the study, why I am conducting the research. Now I will be just specifically I'm telling you, you have to go ahead with accurate and very clear objectives. Because if you want to get desired result, your study must have very clear objectives. It is a prerequisite. If your objectives are not clear, if you're not clear in your life, what my objective is, I think the life does not have any sense. So whenever you are writing any research project, you are deciding upon a topic, sometimes you know what happens, objectives come first in your mind. According to that, you shape your topic. That is also very much fine. It is not that we have to first and all just finalize, these are the words for my topic. Maybe in your mind, objectives have come. On the basis of that objective, you have set up your study. You have changed the name of the topic. It is very much fine because it is your research. Keep this thing in mind. Your research is your research only. Nobody else can challenge upon it. I understand that no study is perfect in itself. Many people can give you ideas, but you can set the scope of your study according to your own ideas, according to your own willingness. You are the owner of that ship, research ship, your own ship. So you can decide upon the objectives, but you have to be very clear. Your objectives should be very accurate. Why we need very clear and accurate objectives? Because these are the objectives that will be giving you direction for the next 6 months or 1 year, for whatever time you are going to conduct the research. If your objectives are clearly specified, believe me, your 50% of the task is done, because you know what you have to do. You need not go here, there. Sometimes what happens when we start the research, we write down very broad objectives that I'll be doing this, that. But finally, when you try to achieve those objectives, then you come to know this is very difficult. It cannot be done. And this is the time you cannot change your objectives also. So these are if you are very clear with the objectives and the objectives are accurate, it will be giving you the right direction. The objectives will be narrowing down your focus. If we are talking about the female feticide task, it is a very broad topic. Female feticide, maybe there can be a number of reasons behind it. If you will specify in your objectives, yes, I'm going to take female from this area only, we will be narrowing down our focus. Then we need not go to the other states. For example, if you want to conduct a research on female and you take the entire India as your sample. From India, you will be taking the sample from different parts of the nation. But when you will go to south side, do you know there such things like female feticide is not that important, because there is no female feticide there. There are no female problems over there. So that study is relevant for the specific places only. So whenever you will be deciding your objectives, it will be narrowing down your focus. If you are very clear with your objectives, you will not collect unnecessary data. You will not waste your time. You will not be just collecting the things that is not required. You know, this is my objective. You have to go to that place and collect the data from there. So objectives will be with the help of clear objectives, your resources will not be wasteful, your time will not be wasted. The unnecessary data that you might be collecting, but if you are clear, I have to go to this particular area only, from there I have to collect the data. So there not be any unnecessary accumulation of the data. In case of scientific studies, it is very important to have clear and accurate objectives, because in scientific studies, it is like cause and effect relationship is there. So in that case, objective clarity is very, very important. Now objectives, what they do, they organize your study in very clear parts. They will be organizing your study. Like, what is organization? When you give certain headings to something and below that you can do your task. So objectives will be dividing your broad topic into various heads. It will be organizing systematically your entire study in clear parts. Now your objectives will be telling you the scope, the depth in which you have to go. And you need not collect unnecessary things. For example, if you want to collect the data of a specific company, for example, in the previous slides, I have shown you that you want to take working capital management of selected Indian companies. That is your topic. In your objective, you will be writing what type of companies I am taking. I'll be taking the companies, those who are having more than 100 crore turnover in a year. So see how our scope has been defined in the objective. Main topic is to conduct working capital management study in selected Indian companies, and the scope will be telling me what type of companies I'll be going. Maybe I'll be going to the companies that are having at least 500 employees. So this objective will be specifying my scope. And finally, the analysis. Analysis will always be based upon your objective. In your objective, you will be writing what you are going to find out. Whether you want to find out relation between two variables, your entire analysis will be based upon the objective. So you can see there are so many reasons that why we need clear objectives. And once your objectives are clear to you, then your research is going to be the perfect one. Now you are choosing research objectives for your research. So there are certain prerequisites that you will have to keep in mind. First is, I think you all would have read about the SMART objectives. S stands for specific, M is measurable, A is achievable, R stands for realistic, and T is time bound. So if we go with those requisites, your objective will be for sure very much clear to you. In your life also, if you set an objective and you have set a SMART objective, we generally say that SMART objectives are always achievable. So specific objectives, this we have discussed enough. You have to be specific. Do not go for broader things. Just be specific in your objectives. Second is relevant. Your objective should be relevant also. If today you conduct a study on corona, that is very much relevant. Your study should be relevant for the particular place or for the particular time when you are conducting the research. Realistic and achievable. Now you all know you have a very limited time. You have 1 semester for conducting the research. So set your objectives that are realistic and achievable. If for this 1 semester, you will be setting the objectives that I'll be collecting data from entire country, entire nation, it is not achievable. So you have to select only those objectives that is realistic and achievable also. Feasible, you have very limited resources at your disposal. You have limited time at your disposal. So it should be feasible also. Physically, legally, it should be feasible. Logical. Try to set logical objectives. Sometimes we set the objectives that is very illogical. Spurious objectives. Do not set those objectives. Just you should see what study I am conducting, whether it is logical also or not. If you will apply the correlation on two things. For example, you apply the correlation on number of ice creams you have eaten today and number of shoes you have bought. So correlation will come, but it is not logical. There is no relation between the ice creams you have eaten and the shoes you have bought. So you always go ahead for the logical objectives. Then unequivocal. The words you are using in the objective should be very clear. No doubts in your mind. Ambiguity should be avoided. Very clear terms you have to specify your objectives. Measurable, your objectives should be measurable, because whenever you will be writing in your thesis, you will have to give interpretations. So the objective you have set, we can check whether you have successfully achieved the objective or not. So it should be measurable also. Now there are two types of research objectives. This also we have somewhat discussed in the topic, general objectives and specific objectives. Now what are our general objectives? These are very broad statements. For example, you take a topic, effect of poverty on education in selected Indian cities. It is a general topic that you want to discuss, a general objective that you want to do in your study. If we want to make specific topics, we have to make them short term, and they will be very narrow in focus. For example, if I want to identify the relationship of poverty with age, see, I have taken one demographic variable. So I can take income. So we can check the relationship between poverty and the demographic variables. So in the first instance, the objective is very broader, and in the second instance, it is very specific. So whenever you are writing in the research, you have to be very specific for your objective. And this is very important. General objectives are always broken into small logical parts, and that small logical parts are your specific objectives only. Once you have achieved the specific objectives, ultimately your general objectives will be achieved. Now, I would like to discuss with you, there is a relation between English and the objective statistics that we write. So you all should know this. Still people are entering in the meeting. So let's discuss how you can write the objectives. First of all, you have to keep this thing in mind. You have to be very specific while writing the objectives. Always start with a verb. Objectives are written like that: to study, to analyze, to describe. So you have to start with two letter always. You have to start with your objectives with two words. So it will always start with the word to study. For example, I want to study the satisfaction level of the people. So satisfaction level will be my variable. How I want to describe the satisfaction of the people, that will further be depending upon so many variables. Sometimes satisfaction level is called a factor also. So it depends upon, different people have described these variables and factors in different sense. And if I want to write a study on the participants of this 1 week course on research methodology, so my objective will be to study the satisfaction level of participants of 1 week course on research methodology. This is a very simple way you can write your research objectives. Always start with a verb, take a variable. You can take more than one variable also, that we will discuss now. And then finally a constant. Constant is the thing that is fixed, that will not change. Participants will be same before and after. I will be seeing their satisfaction level. Let's move on to case 2. Again, I will be setting an objective to study IQ level and happiness level of participants of 1 week course on research methodology. Now, what difference we can see in the first and second case? In the first case, I have taken only one variable. In the second case, I have taken two variables. But I am not going to study their relationship. I have simply written to study IQ level and happiness level of the participants of this course. Now, case 3 can be to study relationship between IQ level and happiness level of participants of this 1 week course on research methodology. Now, from the previous slide, what difference we can make from here? In the previous slide, in case 2, I have simply written to study IQ level and happiness of the participants. Here I have written to study the relationship between. Now these two variables, I have to find out the relationship. That I can find out with correlation. I can find out the dependency of one variable on the other with the help of regression. So accordingly, we can apply the statistical tool as well. So in place of relation, you can write the words like impact, effect, influence, difference, compare. So you can compare two people also, or you can compare two groups also to differentiate. We can compare before and after also. You can use the word association. So like these, you can set your objectives. If I take another case to just clarify the thing, to study the leadership effectiveness and organizational climate of selected public and private sector enterprise. Now, what difference I have made in this objective? In the last point, you can see in case of enterprises, I have taken two categories. So I will be taking public sector as a separate point and private sector as a separate thing. So I'll be conducting the research in the public as well as private sector. Like this, you can widen your research to n number of places. It depends upon how much time you have, how much resources you have. Accordingly, you will be setting your objectives of the research. Now, another last example I will be discussing with you. For example, this is my topic, effect of organizational culture on the attainment of its vision, a case of ABC company. I have taken what is my main thing or main topic, organizational culture, how much impact it has on the attainment of organizational vision. So what is my aim? My basic aim is to assess the effect of ABC's organizational culture on the achievement of its aims and objective. Whether organization's culture has any impact on the attainment of organizational objectives. So I'll be finding out with the help of this. Now see how we will be defining the objectives. To be very specific, first, my first objective is to analyze the nature of the organizational culture. What type of organizational culture ABC company has. Second, to identify what are the factors that are affecting ABC culture. Maybe people are like that or companies situated in that area. That is why culture is different. So I will identify those factors. My third objective can be to analyze the impact of organizational culture on the performance of my employees. And fourth can be to offer the recommendations to strategic level management of ABC company so that their effectiveness will increase. So in a very broad topic, how we have selected the aim is still broader, but if we come to objectives, we have to be very, very specific what we are going to find out. So with the help of these 4 objectives, I will be able to attain my main objective, that is my topic. So certain guidelines are there whenever you are stating any objectives. It is just a revision what we have discussed. Always clearly specify your objectives in operational terms. Specify exactly what you are going to do, where you are going to do, and why you are going to do. So be very clear in your objectives. I am going to conduct a study in ABC company. I am very clear in my objectives. Why I am doing it? Maybe the reason it is near to my place, or maybe it is like in family relations with my parents. So there can be a number of reasons behind that. But I'm having interest in that topic. You have to specify, why am I doing it? Because I'm interested in this topic. That is why I'm doing it. For what purpose? I want to see employee satisfaction in this company. So always clearly paraphrase your objectives in very operational terms. Be very brief, be very concise while writing the objectives. Try to cover different aspects of the problem and its contributing factors in a coherent way, or always go ahead with a logical sequence. Objective should not be just the objective which is related to the 4th point you have written in the 1st point. Go with the logical sequence of the objectives and try to use action verbs as I have shown you, to study, to analyze, to describe. Such words you can use. Always start the objectives with 2 words and be very, very specific. And link your objectives with your hypothesis. Hypothesis is basically an assumption that you are making about your objectives. Tomorrow that hypothesis may be true or wrong depending upon the results you will be getting. But your objectives should be linked with your main topic as well as your hypothesis. So this is my final slide. Imagination is more important than knowledge. And you people, at what age you are, for you, sky is the limit. Just imagine whatever you can imagine and try to research in those areas. Do not restrict yourself to a specific field or a specific topic. Whatever comes to your mind, try to research that. And knowledge is limited, but imagination is not limited. Imagination is endless. With this, I end up my slideshow. Thank you so much for your patient listening. And I feel whatever I have discussed with you, you will be implementing that in your project reports. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful and insightful session. So now opening the floor to questions. If you have any question in your mind, please ask.
Just give me 1 second.
Yes, yes, ma'am, sure.
Yes.
Participants, if you have any question in your mind, you can ask. You can put your question in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mana, and I have a question related to the selection of the topic. Actually, I wanted to ask, when we are selecting a topic, can we include subtopics in between? For example, the healthcare, today healthcare intervention of government in healthcare of government
Okay.
sector and private sector hospitals.
Okay.
So can we include these type of like WHO intervention or government intervention in these things?
Government intervention, I think you will be discussing in your first chapter. That will be introduction chapter. But the main topic that you have just told me, that is a very compatible topic, very complete in itself. So when you are writing about the introduction of that topic, then you can write down the data from WHO you have collected, from any other agency you have collected. You can discuss that data in the first chapter. But what you are doing, you cannot tell WHO in your analysis chapter. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
In the analysis chapter, you have to tell what you have done for this healthcare sector, what you have researched regarding it. That will be in your analysis chapter. Your heading is perfect, what you have told me. You can compare public sector, private sector, healthcare organizations, you can compare. But WHO's intervention or any other agency's intervention will be coming in your introduction part. Or if some studies have been conducted, that will be coming in the second chapter, that is literature review. That will not be a part of your analysis.
Ma'am, like in the subtopics, can we include the interventions of the foreign Oxford University's vaccines and everything?
Yes, of course you can include, but do not write that in your main topic, because that is not your main topic. That is some, just you want to touch upon a thing. That will not be your main topic. If you want to conduct a research on Oxford, that will be on Oxford only. You
Yes.
can take that intervention, subtopics can be there, but just specify that in your research methodology. Specify that in your objectives. I am going to do this. Be very clear with that. Topic is very broad, but objectives will be very specific. If you have written in your objectives, I am going to take these subtopics, no problem at all. Nobody can challenge your study.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so there is one more question in the chat box by one of our students, Shagun Ori. As it is not possible to study the whole population, so because of it, our research can't be 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see, yeah, correct. You are very correct, Beta, because whatever you are thinking is 100% right. Because we cannot work on the entire population, so we cannot be foolproof. That is why we always take alpha. If you will have studied about the research methodology, I think there was a subject in your syllabi related to research methodology. So there you would have seen that whenever we are doing any analysis, we keep 5% level alpha or 10% level alpha. What is that alpha? Maybe in 5% of the cases, our study may not be applicable. We want to be on the safer side. Whatever we are telling, we are declaring something through our results. I have set one objective. I will be declaring, yes, I have achieved the objective. But in 5% of the cases, I can be wrong also. That alpha is very important. Sometimes people set it to 1%. 1% means in 99% of the cases, I will be right. But in 1%, there are chances that I may be wrong also. So you are very much like right in your sense that if we are conducting a sample survey, we will not be accurate. But just you think like it, if I take a blood sample, on the basis of blood sample, a doctor can recommend you the medicine, right? So because of that sample only, doctor is telling you the medicine. A doctor is not taking full blood out of your body. So thank God we have sample study. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for us to suggest the patients the medicines. Same applies in case of social sciences also. We cannot conduct a survey for whole population, but we have to be very clear when we are selecting a sample, it should be representative of the population. You would have read about various types of selecting the sample. Sometimes we take the sample in an arbitrary manner. Sometimes probability theory we apply there, or we take proportionate method there. So whenever you are taking a sample, you should be very specific that it should be a representative sample. Representative means it should represent the whole population. If your sample it has been taken correctly, I think your research will be foolproof. You are very much right that if we are not conducting on the whole population, we cannot be 100% accurate. But yes, 99% we can be accurate. Hanji, any other
Hello.
question?
Yes, ma'am, there is one more question. What if we start researching on a topic, but later we realize that this topic is not our forte? So should we just continue with the research, or we should change our research topic?
If you will ask me, I will tell, leave the topic there and then only. Okay? Maybe generally it depends upon your guide. If he or she is very much okay, sometimes you have to work with that. But the topic that you are choosing should be of your interest. That is why I told you, do not ask people to tell you the topic. Go to the libraries, search for the topic, go ahead with it. If you still feel that it is not the topic, it is not appealing me, it is not coming from inside, leave it then and there only. And you know, research will not be a task for one day. It may take years to complete a research. But for this level at which you are at bachelor's degree point. So here you can tell your teacher to assist you in finalizing the topic. Go ahead with the topic. But when you will move on towards your master's degree or your PhD degrees, then always take the topic that appeals you. Do not go ahead with the topic that your friend has taken or somebody is suggesting you. Don't go ahead with those topics.
Can I say, Paramjeet, with your permission, some
ma'am.
Bete, ma'am is very much right, but it is my suggestion that she is saying when you go for doctorate and all that, there is a term called sample survey. So whenever you choose some topic, it is better you like initiate the study with small group of people and see whatever difficulties you are facing in selecting the variables, or you think your objectives are not clear. So you can conduct the study with very small group of people with 10 respondents, see whether the objectives will be materialized or not. And then ma'am has given a very nice explanation, but it is a same problem that I faced when I was doing my doctorate. So sometimes you choose some objective which are, you know, very flowery, say, and you find the English is very good. But when you practically try to initiate that thing, the variables are not measurable, and that is why we always go for sample. You know, sample में ही आप इसको survey करके देख लो कि ये जो आपने objectives लिए हैं, क्या ये measure हो सकते हैं, क्या problems हैं आप face कर रहे हो, और 10-15 लोगों के साथ, जैसे अभी आपने online जैसे Google से कुछ form से survey करना है, तो अगर आपने online survey करना है तो बजाय कि आप एकदम Google forms को 50 रिस्पोंडेंट के ऊपर लेके जाओ, इसको 5-6 लोगों के साथ इनिशिएट करके पहले देख लो कि आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम फेस करनी पड़ रही है. थैंक यू परमजीत. आई होप आई एम लिटिल बिट.
Ma'am was just talking about the pilot study. Pilot study is the term like instead of going ahead with thousands of people, conduct the study on 10 or 20 people first. Just take it, right. Whether results are coming or not, that is known as pilot study.
Yes, thank you so much for your insight,
nice explanation, yeah. Paramjeet. Pooja ma'am, can I leave because I have to go for some work? Paramjeet, you've done a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You please carry on.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So,
yes,
ma'am,
are there any questions?
Yes, ma'am. There are 2 more questions.
Okay.
So Mahak Chopra is asking, is it necessary to choose a topic related to our stream or today's scenarios, or we can choose any of the topic like female abuse?
Mehak, your question is very good. You can choose a topic of any discipline, just try to relate it with your discipline. For example, you want to conduct a study on female. You can relate it with your own subject. Okay? We can tell that how GDP is increasing and how women is facing the problems, whether women is having any contribution in India's GDP. So you can link up that. At your age, whatever you are, now just try to take a topic of your own field at this age. But once you move on in life, you can assist with other people and you can conduct collaborative studies. For example, one person is from psychology, you are from management department. Both of you can collaborate and conduct one study. So such studies are very much welcomed in the research world. But for now, I will suggest you take the topic of your subject only, because you are just blooming. So whenever you will be like fresh like a flower, you would have bloomed very well. In that case, you can conduct any study, any subject you can take. But you keep this thing in mind: when you are conducting an interdisciplinary study, take a specialized person of that field also with you.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, there's one more question. Comparing exports and imports in India from different countries at different weighted periods could be chosen as a topic.
Yeah, it can be taken, but in India, like you are going to take all the organizations or entire India, you are going to take from where you are going to take the study, which companies you are going to take. So be little specific. Exports and imports is a very, very broad topic, what I feel. So be specific. You are going to take a specific time period. In objectives, write down, I'm going to take the entire country's exports and imports. And you have to also describe what type of companies you are considering, because exports import takes place in n number of industries. So be specific, try to specify it very clearly.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there is one question, one interesting question is there. Can we choose the topic that is temporarily pertaining in the country?
Yes, of course you can take. That will be, I think, the best thing, because the studies related to that would not have been conducted much. There will be very limited studies related to that, and your topic will be very much acceptable. You can always take there is a temporary problem. And for example, now Corona is there. We all expect it will be for a temporary phase. It will go on. If today you conduct a study related to that, so many journals will come forward to publish the study. So you can always go ahead with the studies that is for a temporary time period.
Yes, ma'am. And one more question: how can we select the better research tool for our research project?
See, your research tool will be dependent upon so many things. Your research tool will be dependent upon your objective. As I have told you, if you have written the word in your objective to study the relation, the word relation means you can use correlation, you can use regression, you can use ANOVA in your research study. So the terms that you are using in your objective, be very specific. Second point is the analysis tool that you are going to use will be depending upon the nature of your data. Whether it is a metric data, it is a non-metric data. That is also, I will tell you, it is not a task for your age. You just collect the data, and the tool you can consult to your ma'am, or you can consult me anytime. We'll be suggesting you this tool is applicable, just apply that tool. Once you will move on in the statistics in life, then only you will be come to know what are the metric variables, what are non-metric variables. According to the nature of data, we select the analysis tools.
Okay, ma'am. A question from Nancy Khanna. Do we have to specify a single organization in our topic, or we can generalize it and mention a whole industry?
The time period that you are having, I will be suggesting you to specify the industry name, or you can compare two industries. If you are taking general, that can also be taken. For example, I have told you working capital management. For that also, I have written selected Indian companies. How will I be selecting those companies? I will be telling in my objectives. So at your the way you are going to conduct the survey, because you are having very limited time period. So take one company, or you can compare some companies, a comparative analysis you can do. Then you will be writing your topic like a comparative analysis of working capital management with special reference to, you can write down the company's names also.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. I think Nancy.
Excuse me, ma'am. My name.
Nancy, okay. Nancy, you want to ask something?
Nancy Khanna.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. You can speak.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's some network issue on her side.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yes,
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes,
yes,
Beta, you
now
are
you're
audible.
audible. Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, suppose I'm researching about the consumer behavior towards online food service industries. So
Okay.
is that, so I'm asking that I have to mention that I'm talking about Zomato, or I can take a full industry.
If you want to take a full industry, will you be able to do it within the time period of 6 months, Nancy?
But ma'am, I'll be studying the consumer behavior. So I'll be not talking about the companies, but I'll be researching about how people are reacting to these companies.
But
So,
see, yeah.
so if I'll be taking a single organization, I think my study will be narrow.
Yes, correct. Very right. So you do one thing, when you are writing your objectives, you collect the data and write in your objectives that what companies are there in you, when you will be collecting the data. For example, you have 5 companies or 7 companies. Just specify them in your objectives that these are the companies I have taken. And there is an interesting thing in the research. You can write down the scope of the study. That is very, very important. If you are taking so many companies, make a heading scope of the study or my scope. Your task will be done. If somebody challenges you, you can always tell that this is the scope. I have very clearly written these companies I have taken.
Okay, ma'am.
So your study will be foolproof.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ramneek here.
Okay.
First of all, thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation. My question is that if I choose a topic regarding the impact of COVID-19 on the travel and tourism, as it's a broad topic, and if I narrows it to the hotels in Punjab, the impact of COVID-19 on the hotels in Punjab, but it also limits my scope to the only Punjab. And it will be not more relevant than the topic if I choose the above mentioned.
It is very much relevant. Why you are thinking it is not relevant? In Punjab, n number of hotels are there. It is very much relevant. You will be writing with special reference to hotels of Punjab, because if you will be moving ahead out of Punjab, you understand how much time it is going to take from you, whether you will be able to visit those places to collect the data, and when the examiner will be asking you how you have collected the data, because it is COVID period, what your answer will be? It is very much difficult at present. It is very good topic. You can always, and even Punjab also is very big. I think again people will be asking Punjab कैसे cover कर लिया आपने in this time period. So Ludhiana cover करो सिर्फ. I will be telling you very specifically. You can conduct this topic. अगर कल को condition ठीक होती है, then you can extend the topic. Same topic you can extend in your MPhil, in your any other degree. No problem.
And ma'am, it will be only on secondary basis. Na secondary data will be only in recent areas.
Secondary क्यों होगा? आप अगर वहाँ, because you cannot go, of course they will be telling you it is primary if you are conducting online research. It is not secondary. Secondary कैसे करोगे बेटा? Primary होगा ना, आप उनसे questionnaire fill कराओगे जाकर, या फिर आप उनको online Google form circulate करोगे.
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? तो या फिर आप थोड़ा बहुत जो स्टडी का डेटा लोगे वो ऑनलाइन लोगे कि पहले ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म में दिस मच वाज द अर्निंग, नाउ दिस मच इज द अर्निंग. होटल्स में दिस वाज द अर्निंग, नाउ दिस मच इज द अर्निंग. सो एवरी स्टडी इज ऑलवेज जनरली, जो आप प्राइमरी डाटा की बात करते हो ना, जनरली द स्टडीज आर अ कल्मिनेशन ऑफ बोथ प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी. So when you are specifying the data relating to your hotel industry in your chapter number 1 or chapter number 2, that is secondary data. But in the third chapter, or fourth chapter, data analysis, you will be coming in that case, whatever research you have conducted with the hotel managers or hotel owners. You will be writing that. Questionnaires you will be taking from them. So that will become a primary study. If you are fully based upon the data from the internet, then it will be a secondary study. And secondary study is not that bad. Secondary study is also acceptable.
Ma'am, also it is mandatory in undergraduate that there should be gaps if we are researching. That the topic I have chosen, that I have to research the gaps which were not previously mentioned.
See, research gap is that has not been done. Okay, if you are taking working capital management of ABC company, and before that nobody has done study of ABC company, that is your research gap only. Working capital management has been done 1,000 times. But if you are doing with ABC company with what nobody has done till date, that will be okay. Your research gap is, you have identified the research gap कि सबने बहुत सारी companies में किया, but इस company में किसी ने नहीं किया था. So I have done that in this.
And ma'am, I can compare 2 hotels in that. It will be sufficient.
Beta, just now your question was you want to cover up the entire India, Punjab. Now you are telling me you want to cover only 2 hotels? Huh?
Yes.
Just be clear. Just read the things first very clearly. Okay, then we can discuss on these points.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Ma'am, I think we are done with the questions.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for this very wonderful session. In the words of one syllable, you have explained the topic very beautifully. And I don't think there's any shadow of doubt left with any student regarding this topic now. So thank you so much for giving us your precious time today. And we are very grateful. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you, Paramjeet ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am.
It was a really enlightening session, and I'm pretty sure the students must have gained a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.